At it again. And you guys know how I always speak about Matt Gaetz and how he's one of the people that I would consider a true Republican. Well, I've got a great clip from Matt Gaetz and him questioning Alejandro Mayorkas. It is honestly incredible. What you guys are about to witness here is a masterclass. And I think it should be the example for all Republicans that we, elect to public office. This is how they should conduct themselves when faced with corruption, when faced with people who lie to your face, right? When faced with the type of Democrat politicians that we have today. This is a masterclass. You are now getting ready to watch a master at work. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
Attorney General, you've told us that it's a dangerous conspiracy theory to allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fonnie Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
You make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about. Now, you were a judge, once nominated to the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No.
No.
Now, this is also where it gets very, very interesting and where Matt Gaetz puts him on Front Street. Listen to the questioning and then pay attention to Merrick Garland's response, because it's very telling what he says. And Matt Gaetz calls him out on it actively after he does it. It is incredible, because I think a lot of people, if they were watching this with anybody else, any other, Republican or anybody, right, questioning Merrick Garland, they wouldn't have come to this conclusion. They wouldn't have paid attention to exactly how Merrick Garland was actually answering the questions. But Matt Gaetz does, and he calls him out on it. But I don't want to spoil it. That's why I'm being a little vague. But just check it out. It's incredible.
And you didn't, because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't, because there's a federal rule barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased, rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction which has to be respected. I won't comment on it. That case is still ongoing. The defendant,
Mr. Attorney General, I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally profiting off of the notoriety of a case that was before your court?
I'm going to say again, it's very clear you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have...
It's very clear that you're asking me about a case. Now, just... Are you catching on to it? Did you catch it? Let's continue.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over.
Say again, you're asking
yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're connecting the dots,
court.
Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety. You know the very reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
I'm recognized for 5 minutes.
He literally just told on himself and didn't even realize it. Didn't even realize it. Had no clue. I have to sneeze. Whew. Oh, goodness. Had no clue. Had no clue that he just told on himself. And I love that Matt Gaetz called him out on it. Incredible. Like, I just got to watch that back. I want to play that back again. Because most people will miss that part. They'll just skip over that. Like, you know, he's just answering questions. But he knew exactly what he was asking, exactly what, you know, what he knew exactly how to connect the dots. And Matt Gaetz called him out on it. Like, oh, so you've connected the dots. Matt Gaetz didn't mention the judge. He just asked a simple question, right? He asked a question about a scenario. He didn't say, you know, Judge Merchan, or he didn't mention the judge's daughter, right? Judge Merchan's daughter specifically. He just was asking a simple question. And Merrick Garland was the one that made the connection to Merchan. Just saying.
A family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over.
Say again, you're asking
yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're connecting the dots,
court.
Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety.
Look at
you
his
know the very
face.
reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with anything you just said, but I'm not going to comment on it.
Okay, so you won't comment on it, Mr. Attorney General, but you had no problem dispatching Matthew Colangelo. Who's Matthew Colangelo?
That is false. I did not dispatch Matthew Colangelo.
Matthew
That's
Colangelo,
false.
Matthew
False.
Colangelo became the Assistant Attorney General at the very beginning of the Biden administration. Without having been Senate confirmed, goes and gets this senior role at the DOJ, and then after, I believe it's Gupta replaces Colangelo, Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump. And you're saying that's just a career choice that was made that has nothing to do with the lawfare coordinated by the DOJ.
I'm saying it's false. I did not dispatch Mr. Colangelo anywhere.
Well, do you know how he ended up there?
I assume he applied for a job there and got the job.
But see, you know what?
I can tell you I had nothing to do with it.
Well, you might not have had anything to do with it, but we've got this contemporaneous evidence in Mr. Pomerantz's book. So Pomerantz writes this book, which I'm sure you're aware of, where he says, we put together the legal eagles to get Trump. We got all these folks together and we assembled them for that purpose. And so when we on the Judiciary Committee think about attacks on the judicial process, our concern is that the facts and the law aren't being followed. A target is acquired, here, Trump, and then you assemble the legal talent from DOJ, Mr. Pomerantz, and you bring everybody in to get him. And meanwhile, the judge is making money on it. The judge is making money on it, or the judge's family's making money on it for stuff that you yourself wouldn't do. You know, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to believe it. It's going to create great disruption. And I am saddened by it because, like you, I have given my life to the law. I care deeply about the law. And I think that the lawfare we've seen against President Trump will do great damage well beyond our time in public service. I see my time's expired. I yield back.
Yeah, I think Democrats are cooked. They're cooked. One, now granted, it's early polling, right? It's early polling, but the early polling shows that there wasn't any difference. Didn't matter, or I should say it doesn't matter that Trump got convicted of this. Didn't matter at all. And one could argue that there was a major shift in the direction or for Trump, right? When you consider the amount of donations that everyone has sent in, from folks like you and I to billionaires. And the latest report that I saw, and I'll have to pull it back up. I had it up on my phone. Trump had raised $370 million since the verdict had come down. $370 million. I'm trying to find it on my phone right now. But that was the last report that I saw today. Literally just saw it like 30 minutes ago. $370 million. So almost $400 million Trump has raised. And now I can't find it, of course. Almost $400 million since the verdict has come down. Crazy, right? And then when you add on top of that nearly 400 million, Trump is holding a dinner, or some billionaires are holding a dinner in Silicon Valley. Yeah, tech billionaires, the tech guys, the folks who typically wouldn't even consider a Republican, especially not a Republican like Donald Trump, came together, put together a dinner where tickets were selling for $300,000, $500,000 for couples, $500,000 for a couple to attend this dinner. Now, granted, these are rich, very wealthy millionaires and billionaires. So, $300,000, $500,000, it don't mean the same to them as it would to us, right? If I had to pay $300,000 to meet Trump, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I would love to meet you, brother, but, $300,000 is too steep of a price for me. Can't afford that, all right? But when you have Silicon Valley putting together something like that, and it sold out, I guess I forgot to mention that part. It's completely sold out. Yeah. You heard me correctly. In Silicon Valley, $300,000 a ticket. Sold out. For Donald Trump. Not a Democrat. For Donald Trump. So when you add in when you add that on top of the nearly $400 million, plus the other billionaires that are talking about, putting something together for Trump, like Elon Musk is talking about putting together a town hall for Trump. I also heard Elon Musk was also meeting with some other billionaires to fundraise for Donald Trump. Listen, I just don't see how this guy loses. Democrats have royally messed up. America has woken up, and we've had enough. From just a regular Joe Blow like you and I, all the way up to the wealthy of the wealthiest with Elon Musk. We're all saying the same thing. This ends this year. It's over with. It's done. And not to mention, donations are still rolling in. Right? I'm still seeing videos pop up of people saying, yeah, I'm donating to Donald Trump. I put my donations on a recurring monthly basis. So donations are still rolling in for Trump. Still. Now, granted, money ain't everything, okay? Right? But I do think in terms of an election, it does mean a lot. It does mean a whole lot. Ads aren't cheap. Ads are not cheap, especially when you're combating Democrats, right? But, man, incredible stuff. And big shout out to Matt Gaetz, man. Once again, big shout out to Matt Gaetz. Those are the type of Republicans that we need. As a matter of fact, I may do a series on all of the good Republicans that we have. And then, in terms of the races and things like that, I may do like a series, like per every state. Do like a series like that, on the good Republicans, the bad Republicans, the ones that we should get out of there, and the ones that we shouldn't. And obviously, I would provide evidence as to why, I believe, this is a good guy, or this is a bad guy, or this is a good chick, or that's a bad chick, right? Of course, I'll provide evidence, and I think I'll do it like state by state, just do them in alphabetical order, from A all the way down. Let me know if you guys would be interested in something like that. I feel like it's going to be a lot of work, but I do think it would be a very interesting series to have, and very informative to put together, that I think would come in handy, right? Because there's so many folks, there's so many of them. But I do think that would be useful. But as always, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions on all of this in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.